And off we go. get started, and you will throw. Yes, you will throw. Yes, you will throw your arms around me.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've come together this afternoon in love and gratitude to celebrate the life of a remarkable man, John Gibson. A man who over 86 years lived quietly, humbly, and with extraordinary kindness. A man whose integrity, generosity, and humour touched countless lives. And as we gather to honour him, we begin with a poem that reminds us of the quiet presence of love. It's called Find Me There by Sarah Rain. Thank you, Joan.
When we see a grieving heart shattered into a million pieces, and we know we cannot put it back together again, or carry every piece, we can at least pick up a few and hold them in our hands with warmth and care. This pain is not meant to be held alone. It takes a village to grieve.
Thank you, Jane. So very, very true. Today is a day of mixed emotions, of sorrow and gratitude, of laughter and tears. We are here not only to mourn John's passing, but to celebrate his life, a life well lived and deeply loved. We remember a man who was practical, positive, and profoundly engaging. He was a doer, a quiet achiever, a friend to so many. If John loved you, that love was for life. As Max Ehrmann's poem Desiderata says, go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. That was John, calm in spirit, thoughtful in action, generous in word and deed. He lived by that philosophy every day. John was born in Sheffield, a country lad with solid values and an instinct for hard work. His career took him from humble beginnings in a Devonport bank to the role of council clerk at just 21, and later to general manager of the Waratah Wynyard Council. He was a man of innovation and foresight, the first to introduce computers and mobile phones into local government in Tasmania. He wasn't afraid of change. He welcomed it, because change meant growth, and growth meant connection. Each morning, he would walk through the office greeting every person by name, visiting the depot, checking in. He believed that leadership was not about distance, but about presence. He embodied that line again from Desiderata, as far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. John's life was filled with friendship and community. He loved red wine, not just for its flavour, but because it brought people together. He loved golf, not only for the game, but for the company. He loved music, sport, and the gentle humour of life, those small daily joys that meant so much. He had a knack for one-liners. She's a worry. Or, it's all go here. And his one-liners could make everyone smile. He had tools in his shed that were as pristine as his principles, because John believed you did things properly or not at all, 150% or nothing. And while his words were few, his actions were many. He was humble, gentle, and selfless, an encourager, a teacher, and a mentor to countless people across the community. He listened deeply, he cared quietly, he loved steadfastly. At this point, I would like to invite John's son David and daughter Bridget to come forward to deliver his eulogy.
Welcome. We gather today to celebrate a life of Dad, a brother, husband, dad, pop, mentor, colleague and friend. A man whose quiet strength and steadfast sense of purpose left a mark on every community he touched. Those who knew Dad best will tell you he never sought attention. He would feel us gathering today to celebrate his life as undeserved, but somehow his influence always filled the room. He led not with noise, but with calm conviction, often summed up by his two favourite phrases: "We'll creep up on this," and "common sense will prevail." Those words weren't just sayings, they were a philosophy, a reminder that patience, care and good sense could solve almost anything. Dad was born on the 17th of June 1939 in Sheffield on Tasmania's northwest coast, a region he would go on to serve, shape and love for many more than 8 decades. He was the first son of Robert and Rita, with his family brothers welcoming his brothers Peter, Michael and Dad's sister Elizabeth. From all reports, Dad was a busy child. Peter recalls sport being the dominant fixture all through his childhood, something that would stick with him throughout his life. This included, as an example, building hurdles out of wood in the backyard in Sheffield to support his training for the Devonport High School Sports Carnival, and another example of forming the Sheffield Under-19s Football Club, not just as the organiser, but as a man who personally drove around in the early mornings to collect everyone, all the players from the farms and small towns, so the team could make it to the Oval by 9 a.m. He'd bring them home again at night, often after losing by 100 points, but that never mattered. Dad knew success wasn't about scoreboards, it was about giving people a chance to belong. Dad's younger siblings recall following him around as he competed in the Christmas Carnival series in the schoolboys' events. His passion for the Christmas Carnival series and what it delivered to northern Tasmania being something that would stick with him for the whole life. He took great joy in cheering on family members Frank, Grant, Troy and Sarah Jane as they competed. He even had his own moment in the Tasmanian sporting spotlight, winning the under-25 road cycling championship. Dad's dedication to work and community began after leaving high school at 17 at the Commercial Bank of Australia in Devonport as a teller, where he boarded nearby. When he was 19, he had the opportunity arose to return to Sheffield, where he trained as a council clerk role for the Kentish Council. When he moved in this role at 21 years old, Dad was the youngest ever to fill the council clerk role in Tasmania. Despite the significance of the role, Dad was regularly humbled by his colleague, Auntie Dolly, who consistently referred to him in the workplace as Johnny Pops. In 1967, Dad became council clerk of the Waratah Wynyard Council, a role he held through the modern term of general manager for more than 36 years. When he started at Waratah Wynyard Council, Dad did a study of the Echuca, did a tour of Echuca to learn of their local council. From this experience, he was inspired to really develop the municipal area. Under Dad's recommendations and guidance, Waratah Wynyard was the first council in the state to install and have a computer system and the use of mobile phones, being seen as innovative in this space. He was a fantastic big picture thinker with a vision for technological applications, despite never being much of a user of digital technology himself. At high school, Dad met Muriel Goodwin, Mum, where she used to play the piano for the school song every morning. They went on to marry in 1961. In 1962, they welcomed Kate, then Barry, followed by David himself. When Dad allowed himself a small respite from work, I remember a road trip to Hobart as a family. We visited all the local sites, and at a key point to note for that visit was seeing the aftermath of the Derwent River Bridge collapse in 1975. Dad was an avid supporter of our hobbies and sporting pursuits. I remember him dropping me off at the Wynyard Yacht Club, then ducking off to catch tea time for 18 holes of golf. I also remember him funding Barry's entry in the model train Passion, and then later being very proudly walking Kate down the aisle to Mary's tea.
Dad was respected not only for what he achieved, but for how he went about it. He was fair, he was calm, and he was a really decent man. He always had a good word to say about others, even when he didn't agree with them. His leadership was built on respect, listening, and quietly making progress. He didn't just lead, he led with genuine compassion. While working at the Waratah Wynyard Council, Dad had a staff member whose wife was dying of cancer and his colleague didn't have enough leave to care for her. Dad arranged for other staff, including himself, to donate their leave so the family could be together. This was typical of his support of employees and showed that genuine care for others was an integral part of Dad's character. Dad's love for community didn't stop at the council chambers. He poured his time and energy into local clubs, from the Wynyard Golf Club, where he was integral to seeking funding to rebuild the clubhouse after a fire, to the Wynyard Yacht Club and Somerset Recreation Centre, where his grant-seeking planning foresight made so many of these facilities possible. It was at work that Dad met Mum in 1980. They went on to marry in 1983 at Mum's family home in Launceston. Mum and Dad were able to balance working together with a memorable life, including a trip to Europe where they spent 2 months travelling in 1986. Dad spent the first few weeks of the trip ordering steak Diane from every menu, a very expensive option, with Mum choosing the cheapest option to balance the travel budget. His dinner was never as good as the Rialto, so Mum drew a line and requested he order something else and wait to have his steak Diane back in Burnie. While handling multi-million-dollar budgets at work was the norm for Dad, he struggled with the multiple currencies in Europe at the time, referring to them all as jiggers. How many jiggers is that one? Was a standard question when he was making a purchase. In 1988, I was welcomed into the family and Catherine followed 2 years after. We have fond memories as kids of Dad pushing me, Catherine and Beth in the wheelbarrow to the beach on a warm day, which we would demand until we were probably far too big for it to be comfortable for him, particularly as he had to lug us over the lip of the train track. Dad loved a drive, regularly packing us into the car to visit Kate and Steve in Rosebery, Alf and Anne Marie in Ulverston, or up to Mount Hicks to see Bill and Gwen. Poor David had Bob the Kelpie stuck in his head for days after joining us on one of these road trips. And Dad somehow always managed to tack some sort of municipal business into the journey. I don't think many children have spent more time at a council depot as Catherine and I had the pleasure of, or visited quite as many new subdivisions as they were being built. Dad's love for his family extended to his grandkids, giving Zach, Blaine and Beth a special trip to Melbourne for their 10th birthday celebration, which also included time with Branson, Callum and Dakota. When Dad dedicated time to his family, it was never in a half measure. When Dad retired from work in 2002, he didn't stop contributing. He took on new roles with the local government board, helping to measure and improve council performance across Tasmania. Even in these later years, his insight, professionalism, and his sense of fairness were sought after and respected statewide. He was still giving back, still mentoring, still caring, and still making a difference. After his retirement, Dad's passion for sport and people continued right here at the Seabrook Golf Club where we are today. He served as president for 15 years and was made a life member. He could as easily be found behind the bar, on the mower, or on the fairway, each role carried out with the same quiet pride. Dad was pivotal in securing the future of this golf club through the rezoning and redevelopment project, a project that we all know he found incredibly fulfilling. In 2004, he took a solo trip to Ireland to play golf. He drove himself from Dublin to Portrush over 14 days, playing on a different golf course every day. Then he met his great friends David Good and Stuart Wardlaw at Royal Portrush, where David was playing the Senior British Open. No doubt many red wines and whiskies were consumed in that time. Dad loved a red cordial. I'm sure most people in this room have shared at least one glass in the time they knew him. A love he certainly passed on to me. In later years, Dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Right from diagnosis, Dad was determined to understand and manage Parkinson's as best as he could, which he did for many years with the infinite support of Mum. This included a progressive homemade infrared light space helmet contraption designed to promote brain health and slow down the symptoms, which travelled with him all over Australia in attempts to mitigate the symptoms of the illness. When Parkinson's developed to a point that Dad could no longer drive, he walked from home in East Wynyard into town to the local police station to undertake the completely unnecessary exercise of physically surrendering his driver's licence to the police. 14 months ago, Dad moved into Yarrandoo, where Mum, Kate and the kind and caring staff made sure Dad's last months were peaceful and pain-free. In his time at Yarrandoo, Dad became highly respected by other residents and staff. While still mobile, Dad was a friendly face to all. His neighbour Audrey regularly referring to him as a true gentleman, with Dad taking the time to wave and say good morning to everyone on his rounds before getting back to base. Dad's life was long, full and lived with purpose. He leaves behind not only a proud family, but communities that are better for his work, communities that still bear the imprint of his care. He didn't seek recognition, but he earned it. Every day in the quiet way he went about things. As we remember him today, we can all take comfort in his favourite words, words that guided a lifetime of service and grace. Common sense will prevail, and indeed for Dad, it always did.
Thank you, David and Bridget. What a wonderful man your father was. I have the honour of presenting a tribute this afternoon from Eileen Burrows, who worked with John at the council. And Eileen has written, I started working at Wynyard Council in 1980 after transferring from Burnie Council. My job was secretary to John Gibson, who was the council clerk, and Bruce Corbett, his deputy. Jane Shepherd joined the council soon after as the recreation officer, and at that time worked from an office in the Wynyard Sports Centre. Jane's role eventually changed to community development officer, and her office moved to the Wynyard Council chambers. I resigned in 1984 to have 2 children and returned to the Wynyard Council in 1990, working as the administrative assistant in community development and town planning, with the amalgamation of Waratah Council and Wynyard Council to become Waratah Wynyard Council in 1993. I left the council in 2005 after more than 20 years association with John Gibson as my boss. During my early days at the council, I witnessed the relationship between John and Jane evolve and their romance culminating in their marriage and the birth of Bridget and Catherine. John was a true gentleman and very considerate and kind to all his employees, those inside the office, the outdoor workers and supervisors. John, or as he was better known, Gibbo, enjoyed interacting with all the employees outside of work hours in the council's social club activities and encouraged all the council workers to join in together. John was very community-minded and involved in the local golf clubs as an office bearer and looked after the minutes, agendas and correspondence alongside all his council work. He was a wonderful mentor in local government and his advice was regularly sought after by many other council managers. He was a great teacher, particularly if you produced any work not quite up to his high standards. I can remember enduring a detailed lesson and demonstration from John in how to rule a straight line on a piece of paper. John was always very considerate to the lady employees in the office and extremely conscious of their family situations. He was a highly respected leader in local government and way ahead of his time in his attitude to accommodating working women. Finally, I would like to share a message I received yesterday from Jean Petterwood, who worked as the Wynyard Place Centre and Childcare Centre Director. Jean's best memory of John was when he did parent help at the Wynyard Place Centre and he came along when Catherine attended. Jean still has visions of John wearing pink rubber gloves to clean the children's toilets. What a great man. I'm sure too we all have wonderful memories of John, a true gentleman at rest. Thank you, Eileen. So as we continue to celebrate John's life, let's now take a moment to look back through images, smiles and memories. Each photograph tells a story, a family moment, a friendship formed, a laughter shared, a milestone reached. Together they weave the story of John Gibson, a story of connection, kindness and grace.
And all you wanna do is rock. You don't wanna bear the shock no more. And it's just swear that fills your eyes. Let feelings that you have denied. When every wolf is at your door, just like 100 times before. You don't wanna lead the end. 'Cause you're amazing. We did amazing things, and I wouldn't change it. 'Cause we were amazing things. We're building bridges in your mind. Your eagerness now is on the line. Plastic mountain at your feet. Divided streets now as you look to find a seat. And every wolf is at your door, just like 100 times before. But you don't wanna lead the end. days. No, I really did not want to end that way. But things that seem to bind us, things put behind us on that.
What absolutely beautiful memories you have to cherish always. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments, sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory that our grateful hearts will treasure. And John's most certainly was a life well lived. Before we close, John's family would like to extend their heartfelt thanks to the wonderful staff at Yarrandu Aged Care Facility for their kindness, compassion and care over the past 15 months. They also extend their thanks to Parkinson's Tasmania for their ongoing support, guidance and understanding through John's journey. Their work makes an enormous difference, and it was a cause close to John's heart. I would like to introduce Catherine, John's daughter, to come forward and share an initiative to honour her father. Thank you, Catherine.
As we reflect on Dad's many impressive qualities, abilities and achievements, we felt it would be somewhat remiss not to acknowledge the man's uncanny ability to win a raffle. He won Weber barbecues in every size. He won paint tins filled with jelly beans. He won merchandise from irrigation companies. He won merchandise from beer companies. He won all kinds of crap. But mostly, he won meat. There was never a shortage of mini Carlton draft footballs or rissoles in the Gibson household. So today we will be running an extra special meat raffle in honour of Dad. In exchange for a ticket, we ask that you make a donation to Parkinson's Tasmania. You can do this with the QR code in your booklet, or we can accept cash on your behalf. I think there might have been a donation box near the door as well when I walked in. We'll also be honouring donations which were made previously. Just let us know. So at the completion of the service, just come and find me or Bridget to exchange your donation for a ticket. We'll aim to draw it in 30 minutes to an hour. If the winner isn't here to claim their tray of meats, we will redraw it. It's a bit of an ad hoc system, and it's definitely not how Dad would have done it. But someone will be leaving here today with a tray of meat, and since John's not here, you might actually be in with a chance.
done, Catherine. What a great initiative. I'm sure your dad is smiling right now. So, as we come to the end of this celebration, we are reminded once more of the words of Max Ehrmann that John lived by. With all its sham, drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. And John did just that. He found beauty, joy and friendship in every season of his life. He accepted what life brought with grace and courage, even in illness, simply saying, "I'll let nature take its course." And nature, in its gentleness, did just that, giving him a peaceful, pain-free passing surrounded by love. So as we farewell John today, may we hold on to his legacy, his kindness, his humility, his laughter, his faith in people. May we go forward in the spirit of Desiderata to live our own lives with quiet dignity and open hearts. John, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and until we meet again, may you rest gently in peace, in love, and in the hearts of all who knew you. Farewell, dear friend. You will be missed, but never be forgotten. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please remain in your seats for our final song, following which the bar will be open. We ask that you enjoy a red in John's honour, and of course, get that ticket in that meat raffle.
Absolutely. Let's go. Step right up. Yeah, run it.
You better come up here.
Thank you.